Whilst we were going through this process, we introduced a couple of tools to you that I don't think you'd used before. One was behavioural preference profiling, and the other was the employee engagement survey. How did you find those tools?
Start with the employee survey. That was scary.
Often is the first time, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. I have to say, I was reluctant, but I found it incredibly useful. And bearing in mind that we had the highest score that any business new to the scheme had ever had, which was amazing. I mean, it was, I can't remember what it was, like 80% or something.
But that was a reflection, I think, on the kind of business that you were running. So you must have been really pleased when you saw that.
Oh yeah, we're absolutely thrilled. It was really gratifying. You know, you tend to focus on the problems and forget about all the positives. And the positives way outweighed the problems. And you came away with the feeling that actually all the hard graft, all the care and attention was actually paying off, and that was great. So it became sort of embedded into our systems.
I also talk to lots of business owners and think, well, how do your employees feel about working for you? And they say, oh, they're fine. Maybe there's a few problems here and there, but generally they're fine. But for people like us, for a third party to come in and find that out for real means we've got to go talk to everybody. That will take ages, and assume that they're honest in their response. So we like the survey because A, it's anonymous, and B, it allows us to get almost like a litmus test of the business very, very quickly, and for you as the owner as well. So you get it warts and all. I've seen some that have been quite ugly, the first ones, and yours was far from that. But we always say it's better to know than not to know, because then you know what you're facing, don't you? And then you know how you can react to that.
Absolutely. You know what you're dealing with. And I think it was also a really good exercise for the prospective MBOers, because they could find out what their teams were thinking and the issues to address, etc. But going on to the DISC profiling, that again was a really useful exercise, because although you think you know their strengths and weaknesses, you probably don't. And it was very useful for me to actually have something come along like that. I think it also helps in the conversations you have with people and the way that you deal with people. We talked about this journey that people were on, the O track, and that they wouldn't all necessarily get to the end of that road. And actually, DISC profiling helped in that as well. At that time, I'd already started backing away from quite a lot of things. And I think that's one of the real challenges. And we talked, I know we did talk about it quite a lot actually, but because that was one of the things that you said to me, you know, that you've got to be more hands-off. Yeah. And that's a really difficult thing when it has been your baby and you think only you can do it the right way, the best way. And actually backing off and allowing people to make their own mistakes and then trying to help them through that, but also have your nose slightly put out of joint, and actually they make a far better fist of it than you think you would have done.
They always say that you should employ people who are better than you, don't they?
That's right.
Because that lifts you too. But it is hard. I just wanted to pick up on a point that you made before. We use DISC profiling with teams to help them communicate with each other and work better together. And that comes about because the profile begins by helping to raise your self-awareness. So you say you think you know yourself, and I think I know myself reasonably well, but there are nuances and behavioural things that you might engage in just because that's what comes naturally to you. But if you have heightened self-awareness and then heightened awareness of others around you, you can begin to modify the way you choose to behave with those, and that's why you get better results. Because, you know, we're in slightly different places on the profile, but if I understand where your preferences are, I can move towards you, work better with you, and vice versa. And that's how it works with the team. And those guys that didn't make it were the ones that didn't see that opportunity, I think. It's not the only reason, but they just didn't see where the opportunity was in learning more about themselves and learning more about the people that they were working with.